Right, folks, so this is it. This is the decision that was made for this year to design and build your own workbench. Now, I think some of you guys are sitting here, I think there's some old hands here. You may know whatever in terms of woodworking. You probably have built your own workbench, and the reason why you've come to the workshop today is to probably find out what did you miss out on, and what else is there that you can learn. You know, this is an ever ending cycle of learning. I don't know how many benches I've made. I think if any of you guys are in the woodworking game, you've made more than one bench. And the next iteration is always an improvement on the first one. But you've always got your first love that you put together, and you still have a look at it and it reminds you of where you started and where you are today, you know, in terms of your woodworking process. Anyway, so this is what we're going to be doing now for the rest of the year. We're going to break up into various phases, and we're going to actually build a workbench live. Now, before we get going, building a workbench is a very unique individual experience. Who's actually built a workbench of any sorts? Two hands. Your first workbench, do you remember it?
Yes, it was a kitchen table.
No, there we go. There we go. It's better than the garage floor.
Yes.
Okay, that I think for most people is your first workbench, eh? Was the garage floor, or something that you put together, or a tea chest, an old tea chest or something that you worked on top of. And eventually you got frustrated and you said, you know what, I really need to up my environment here. I've got to do something, so let me make a table. But then sort of well-heeled of you went and bought a table, and it's eventually landed up being a little bit rickety, and every time you worked at it, it walked away from you, and you used profane words on a regular basis. And that's what we do, eh? And then at some point you said, you know what, I've got to get this sorted out. Okay, now probably that's the reason why you're here. So just as we, before we get going, it is an individual experience. Okay, so what we're going to put together is sort of our thinking on what would be an ideal workbench. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So each and every one of you will have your own thing. You're governed by, the size that you can work with, your budget in terms of what wood you can work with and so on. So there's a number of things, and we'll go through all these factors and we'll have a look at them in a little bit more detail. So while today is just really a theory talk, and then having a chat, it's trying to just get you into that mindset and say, this is what we're going to be doing, okay? All right, so I think let's fire it off. So just before we get going, we're going to do a little bit here for our supporters, the festival guys are gladly providing us with the equipment to sort of demonstrate as we build the workbench up. So you guys also get to have a look at it. Now, all right, I know the Rolls Royce of the products out there, and some of you guys look here and say, why always festival? I don't have the money for those things. But you know what? Keep on dreaming. You'll get there. Even if it's just the thumb saw, you'll get there. Okay? But eventually, one day you have a look and you say, gosh, I've got everything. But they're the Rolls Royce. Go and start up with a 350 Rand jigsaw from Hyperarmor. Has anybody done that? Go start off with that. And then move your way down the line until you hit something like a Bosch, for example. And then suddenly you look at this and you say, why did I not buy this in the first place? This thing cuts through like a knife through butter. And then you move up into the Vestal range of products, and there's hardly any vibration, the noise is down, this thing cuts, you can set the speed, the swing, you can just got a light on it, you've got everything, short of being self-propelled and just following a line and cutting for you. I guess we'll get there at some point. But this is where you go. So always think of your tools. Start with humble. I always make a comment. Think big, and really do. Think big, but start small. Humble beginnings is where it's going to take you. And you know what, your little jigsaw that you bought, that first one, you still got it, it still works, and you still grab it every now and again just to quickly rip through something with that real rough cut blade on it, to do the quick jobs. Or maybe you've handed it down to your kids, your kids are going to start learning a little about the trade and the art, okay? And of course at a younger age they get so enthusiastic about it. I mean, my daughter is just mad over woodwork, so it's always nice to have her around, but typically like the opposite sex, they love to talk. So I think for most of us, we like silence. That's what woodworking is, a solitary game, isn't it? We like our silence, our own inner space. And when you've got this chirping in your ear the whole time, okay. So all right, we can relate. This is how it works. Okay, so Festival's going to be doing that for us. Okay, we thank them for doing that. Okay, the next one is some of the other tools that we're going to have a look at. In particular, the Axminster range of tools, brilliant set of tools. Go and have a look at their stuff on the website. And Hardware Centre now started selling them. What was the past 2 years now? 2 or 3 years? Yeah, okay. And I'm telling you guys, I don't know if you're like me, but fortunately I can travel overseas. I don't go to malls to go and look at clothes and the likes. Okay? I zip into the hardware store and go and have a look at tools. I'm sure you guys would do the same thing. But some of the places, and you can go and see these tools that they've got. And I mean, it's just, you're like 23 kilos, maybe you're lucky you've got 2 times 23, and maybe you have to buy a bit more, but I tell you what, you will spend your money to bring some of those toys back in. And another thing is, a woodworker never has enough tools, and that's some problem. Miles Craft, okay, it's the other crowd, very good tools. They've kind of the middle range, if you want to put it there, to position them properly. They make some really interesting tools, things that really can assist you and guide you in getting your projects and so on done. It's your choice. You have a look and see what, but they've got some good offerings there. Dowling system, I think, is probably one of the better ones, the more intelligent ones. I mean, I've tried the UJK one, I've tried some of the other ones. They're good, they're all good in their own way, but Milescraft just seems to work for me. You know, like I say, everything's an individual thing. You know, there's like brands of clothing. Everybody has an individual flair to it, or a tendency to lean towards a certain brand. So if you make that your brand and you're happy with it and comfortable, to use it. Okay, Bora is the new entrance. Bora is yeah, the American brand. Sorry, my apologies. I don't know all these things, but and Bora, they brought in the new range of Bora tools. I've had a look at them, and you know, as we work through it, we'll also get to experience what tools they've got, what offerings they've got, and how they work, and what they can do for us. And then last but by no means least, the UJK guys. Man, you want to see toys. Really and truly, if you were a kid and you went to a toy shop and you didn't know how to spend your money, that's them. They've got some fantastic stuff. And in particular, one of our objectives, and I'm looking so forward to doing this, except it's like 280 days away, approximately, or even maybe a little more. The UJK came out with a path guide system to put the dogs, the holes for your dogs on your bench. You know, like the festival table with all the little holes? There was a guy called Peter Buffett. He developed this system using Pythagoras to line everything up. And I tell you what, there's just sheer cleverness of this guy and the ingenuity of how this guy put this product together. And then all the related tools that go around it now, they're just growing this range. But that is the tool to play around. That's the brand to go and play around with. If you want to really look at some of the jigs and fixtures and stuff like that, they've got some really nice toys. And we'll also be playing that one out in you guys. Okay, good. Right, so I don't know if any of you are familiar with some of those. Oh, the Festool you'll definitely be familiar with. Any of the other brands? Anybody used any of the other brands? No. It's all kind of new to you guys. Okay, right. Okay, good. So before we move on, you know, it's just appropriate that we kind of just familiarize ourselves with each other. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys coming out here. Just so that we may add, when we finish with this session, we will be publishing this onto the internet, so you guys will be able to, we'll give you a PDF version of it, okay? And then any links that are in there, you can then just click on that and go off to the internet and go and get access and have a look around. So we will provide you with this, okay? And then we'll just sort of give you a little bit of teaser of what's coming up in the next session in February, okay, end of February. So it gives you enough time to kind of plan and schedule your year. And I always understand that you can't make every single event, but if you do happen to skip one, we're also recording it, so it will be available on the YouTube channel. So if you want to go and sit there and have a look at that, or you missed out something that we were busy doing or talking about, or whatever the case may be, you can always go and refer back to that. Okay, so the media is out there, and then also your comments would be appreciated from you guys. If you can let us know, how you feel, what do you think could be improved upon, or whatever the case may be. Okay, you know, it's a new game. It's really a big first for Hardware Centre to do this, and I think probably a big first for South Africa, because there's not too many places you can go to find you know, a gathering of woodworkers. I wonder if there's a collective noun for that gathering of woodworkers. Probably a chippy of woodworkers or something like that. Or a dust collector of woodworkers or something like that. Right, so quickly, before we disappear, I know that we're all different characters and all different personalities, but just a quick, you know, who's who in the zoo. So, my name is Bunny, I'm Buddy Crocombe, born and raised here in South Africa, love the place. Like to see this game up its ante. I want to see, you know, why can't we become like the American, you know, market? Why can't we become like the European market in terms of woodworking? You know, it's very isolationist in terms of how we work here. And I think you would agree with me on that. You know, we work on our own. It's a solitary game. You know, the other guys in the other countries, you know, I'm talking about the US, so that's the experience I've had. The US and the UK in particular, it's like a brotherhood, you know, it's a common, you know, guys share their information. You ask a question, you ask one question, you think it's going to be 5 minutes and you're out of there. Not going to happen. Those guys have got a wealth, and I'm going to tell you what, hours later before you move out of it, maybe even a lunch and a beer. Yes?
sorry, we do have a brotherhood. It's called the Witwatersrand Woodworkers Association.
Okay.
And people can find out more about it after this workshop.
Right, great. Can we maybe get that information? We can publish that. I know the East Rand has just formed one. If we can try and get this, we really need to, if we want to make a success out of this thing, or really get this thing growing and going, then, also in terms of buying power for wood and stuff like that, which is extremely expensive for us out here. I think we can make a change if we start kind of putting these things together. We've got the tech and the social media to do all of that, so no reason why we can't do that. Okay, then I'm going to introduce you to Marius Ackerman, the managers for Hardware Centre. I think most of you guys do know Marius. You probably bumped into him or he's met you or whatever the case, but if you haven't, that's Marius. His dad is running around just something, he was somewhere. And of course Marius, and then Martin. And then Marius's mom is staying at the back, and the other chaps and the other members of staff. Okay, so we're going to kind of, have a chat to them, friendly guys, they all talk, they all do something, they all say something. So, in terms of woodworking, well, I think like most of you, I was a weekend warrior doing this kind of stuff, playing around on the weekend, collecting a couple of tools and whatever, over the last sort of 30 odd years, and then moved along and eventually moved along, and then just fell in love with this game, and now opened up a workshop. Started the company, a new company, and opened up the workshop last year in November. Stressed as anything, trying to put everything together. There's just too much, it's becoming overwhelming. I don't know if you guys have got any idea of how there's this thirst for getting involved in wood. It's just incredible, the exposure that I've had. So I'm trying to develop this and trying to just get it going, and we'll get there. We'll get there. And at some point I'd like you guys to come over to the workshop and come and have a look at it, and then we'll go from there. All right, so quickly, just a brief from you. First name is good for me. First time novice, mastercraft, whatever the case may be. Position yourself. If you think it's a good idea, you're going to stick it out and see how it goes. Let us know. Give us your feedback. It's just a quick kind of minute about yourself.
Marius as well.
Oh, sorry.
Complete novice.
You're in the right place. You know what a chisel is?
I have no idea.
Okay, I know it's a complicated tool, but we can probably throw it out there, all right? Okay, go.
My name is Doug Coleman. I'm an architectural artist, and I work at Witson around Makerspace there. So
I want to talk to you.
Digital.
Okay, are you involved with the Maker guys at all?
No.
No, okay, because I've reached out to them. They are as keen as anything to get a Maker Fair going in this country. So that's also added extra stress onto my plate. So we must have a chat, okay, if you're keen on that. I'm really, really keen on that, okay, I've got to do this.
I'm Orchid. I'm about 6 months into the game. My pocket's feeling it because as you say, you collect the toys. And I'm here because I got really frustrated at the poor quality crap at very high price points. And then I started making stuff and it's enjoyable, but it's also you control the quality. So very excited to learn.
Good.
Good doing.
Yeah, you're in the right place, eh? Yeah, tons to learn out of this game.
Nicholas, I'm an electrical engineer in building services. I used to do some bits and bobs with my uncle, who used to be a carpenter. That was many years ago, but I'd like to pick it up again, so sort of beginner really with proper woodworking.
Oh, good. It's nice to see you guys coming through, man. It's always something that's linked to it, and I'm sure you spent time with your uncle in the workshop.
I did, yeah,
that's
a massive workshop,
but
it was sort of built-in cupboards kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but I still enjoyed it. But
yeah.
I really want to get.
Chucked you a piece of wood and said, "Get on,"
yeah.
and you enjoyed it, eh?
Yeah.
Your hands and everything.
But I've now. I don't know anyone. We talked about it earlier, Pinterest and stuff, and the stuff that's on there. Proper woodworking, joinery that creates a piece of art. That's where I want to get to.
Okay. There's tons out there. Okay, so what you'll do, maybe I'm picking up the ideas and I'm going to bank it. Because it's difficult to try and judge your audience. Sorry guys, I haven't got through to all of you. It's difficult to judge your audience, and that's why always the first session is, for a guy like myself, it's actually the worst. Because we're trying to position, how do we stand in front of you and how do you sit there in front of me. So yes, I'll have a look at that. So I've got some really good resources in terms of real good joinery experts out there, guys that really know their stuff, and they can teach the stuff properly as well, so we'll put you in contact with it. So I think as we go along, we'll probably build up a list. We should do that, like a list of all these, try and find a category you can put it into. But yeah, and then we'll build it up and then stick it on the website and grab it from there. Okay. But there is, some of that stuff's just to dream of.
Beautiful.
I mean, a guy that I'm busy helping and showing a bit of woodworking to did his first dovetail joint. Okay. You know, when I looked at it, I said, oh, what happened there? But no, seriously, but without shooting him down, it's his proudest moment. It was what he was aiming for, was to get this dovetail joint done. And he's proud. You know what? I'm proud. Well, I'm happy for him, but he's still got a long road to go. He's still got a lot to learn. He did it without any, nothing's equal. How he got the two pieces to marry, I don't know. I was going to zoom in. I think it's probably a lot of wood for that. But he got it done, and that was his objective. And I love that about the guy. His tenacity to get to that point. You know, I'll show you the picture a little bit later on. I've kept it specifically for when we do the dove joint section. I want to show you this. You guys will appreciate it. But I'm telling you now, I think by the end of this year, he's going to do a dove joint second to none. I promise you that. Okay, so you know that's how you start. You spoke about some of the stuff you made. You looked and you thought, man, let me tell you something. You know yourself. Every piece that you've ever made, you can tell everybody where each and every mistake is on it. Am I right? Yeah. And nobody will know it. Nobody will know it. I send a piece out and I think to myself, gosh, I'm not going to put this piece out there. That's not right. That's a bit square. Eyeballing is the game. If it looks great, it is. It's how it works. Just one thing, remember with regards to woodworking, none of this is going to go into space. It's not going to launch a shuttle and stuff like that. So remember that you don't have to work to tolerances like in engineering, okay? You know, plus minus 1 inch is good enough for me. Oh, you're up.
Michael also total. Yeah, started.
Name something about woodwork that you know.
Well,
impress us.
The one thing that I've finished actually is a small block for my slate here.
Sharpening
block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little box with a recess and water and all that. Lekker. I don't have one of those. You're better than me. Right, you're up.
I'm John. I'm a semi-retired mechanical engineer. I've been a woodworker all my life, but I've never been a cabinet maker. My woodwork's always been kind of rough and ready. It's been shelves in the garage and shelves in the house and benches outside. But what's rekindled my interest, in fact, has been some of the YouTubes. There's a woman called April Wilkerson in the States.
Yeah.
She does some incredibly good video clips on woodworking and some of the techniques.
She's got a nice talking technique as well. Her style is very good in terms of how she explains
things.
Yes,
she's very, very good at that. Okay. She's got eye candy too.
Of course she is. And I must say, the woodworkers are very good. If you look at the comments, they don't say anything about her.
No.
That's one thing I must say.
They're very
respectful people.
And there's another woman in the States that she doesn't show so much now. She was a farmer in the Seattle area.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of wood and metal work. She's also got some very good techniques.
Look, there's tons of guys. Joe DeResta, if anybody's knows him, I mean, come on, these guys are real hands-on boys. These people play, and what they put on YouTube is a fraction of what they do.
You see workshops on the side of this building on the guy's property, and you think, wow.
Yeah. But you know what? I've seen some fantastic stuff coming out of a guy's little workshop. It's about this, well, a garage size, where one car can go into. There's another chap who's, woodworking for mere mortals. What's his name? Steve Ramsey, is it?
Yeah, Steve Ramsey.
Go and look at that dude. He's a maniac. Absolute maniac. Go and look at his stuff. And what he's done, he's just revamped his whole workshop. He's come out with a bunch of courses and stuff like that. I kept in contact with Steve over the years since he started, about 10 odd years ago. But he's a character, mate. You can learn a lot of stuff from him. He's one of these guys that, you know what, you only need like 10 tools in the workshop. Yeah. What do you want 49 for? Go and have a look at his stuff. It's really good. You're up.
Matthew, built-in cabinets, kitchens, fitting, but I want to go into making furniture.
The real wood?
Yeah, the real woodwork.
I like stuff.
I built a bench about maybe 5 years ago. Working, but I want to build something that's sort of help me along with my furniture.
So what's wrong with the bench? Does it walk?
No, it doesn't walk. It's actually quite nice bench. But I think
see, you love these first benches, eh?
No, it won't go anywhere. It's going to stay. It's got enough like marks on it and scratches, and that's part of the character. It might even go into an area where you want to drink from it and stuff like that.
Well, you know what, why don't you pedestal? Why don't you just replace the top?
Something like that. I want to get different types of vices and sort of get some points to hold the tree somewhere from it. So
good.
I'm a novice on that side.
Okay, we'll go through all that as well. Right, you're up, man.
Information technology. Well, pretty much our family's been doing woodwork since just around the house.
So yours is just general interest?
Yeah.
And your position? Sort of novice? Real novice?
Just below intermediate, I'd say. And each side is the sharp side of the chisel.
Oh, okay, all right. You know how to position it properly.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Better side. Good stuff. All right. Yourself?
My name is Peter. I'm his brother. So you've already got a little bit of background.
With the same mother.
Yeah.
Good.
So we've always been interested in woodworking. Like this guy, I'm also helpful with the cupboards of toothpakers growing out of the wall.
Yeah.
In December I found the YouTube channel King's Finds Woodworking.
Yes.
Got me going again.
Yeah. Also a nice one. I've got a lot of nice fancy stuff there. Oh, the guys out there. Yeah, well, you can do the same thing. You know, just put yourself out there and see what everybody says about you. You know, you'll evolve. And, you know, bring yourself and giving yourself a public presence forces you to up your ante to learn your game and get better at it. So, anyway, welcome. Young man.
Yeah, so my name's Mark and I'm in tourism and I'm fortunate I travel to the US quite regularly, about 3-4 times a year.
You brought back a lot of
So
time.
I do, but I don't know what to do with it. You know, so I
nice
go into all those shops and like sound like a novice, but I bought a table saw here and I've got that. I've just finished building a bench for that Bosch. I've got similar to that.
Okay.
You know,
The vinyl saw.
yeah, and I just want to, because like you say, it's a solitary game. You know, so I watch this YouTube, but I just need some help. I mean, I'd love to be able to square wood. Just to get it square, it's like the biggest thing, or like that dovetail joint. If I can get that right, I'll say tick up.
Sorry, is your name John?
Yes.
John's laughing there. You know what, I can relate. It is the science. But you, okay. Yes, we'll help you. No, we'll help you.
So yeah,
Okay, so
it's more than a workbench learning here,
Yeah.
then I'm where I should be.
Look, as long as the table doesn't wobble.
Yeah.
Okay. Just keep turning it around until you find out your floor, which is what I need. Then you're going to start again. No, good. Okay, so my question to you is, how much stuff is still in this original packaging, percentage-wise?
No, I have taken. I do bring it out there.
Have you dust on them or not?
Who else has got stuff that's still in packaging? Seriously? After all these years? Oh, mind you, yeah, I must admit, I'm also in the same league now that I think about it. Yeah, gosh, okay. Now we'll help you guys. It looks like we've got to help a lot of you. Yourself?
I'm Nicholas. I'm an industrial engineer, so I know my way around a workshop, but I consider myself a novice in woodworking.
Okay. What don't you know about woodworking?
98% of it.
A lot.
Yeah.
No, look, I don't think you ever know everything about woodwork. I mean, I've worked with guys that are master craftsmen. Gosh, and they still don't know everything. You know, they're inventing and upping their game all the time. That's one thing about woodworking, it's evolutionary. That's a very interesting word to work with. You're going to start off your rickety little things that you're making. You're going to evolve until you can get it square, and then it just becomes second nature, right, John? You battle with squareness in the beginning. Mind you, in the beginning, everything is square. Until you're used to the square, then you realize it's not. And then it becomes a mission. You either get yourself frustrated with it, but then you need to sit down and approach it technically. You know, everything, you've got to square everything up. I mean, I sometimes go and work with other people and use their equipment. And I sometimes just can forget to check that the mitre saw is on 0, or even to cut a square, just to make sure that things do square up, even the mitres, for example. And you know how to do these test cuts, but in your own workshop, you know everything's set up properly. And every now and again, something's a little bit out of kilter, then you'll pay attention to it. Otherwise, you just let it run. They go to somebody else's machine and forget to do that. So you want to put a frame together, and suddenly you find out, oh my word, this frame's not going, and you realise I never squared the stuff up. So it happens all the time. It happens to the best of us. But do you know what? Then there's a little thing called magic. How do you fix it without anybody knowing? And there's a lot of that out there. So, young man, yourself.
I'm Les.
How's it, Les?
I've always done just repairs around the house in woodwork and that. And then the best thing I ever did was a couple of years ago, I joined 2 woodworking clubs. The Wits Woodworking Club and the Triton Owners Club.
Okay.
And I've learned so much from the other members. It's so nice. They're all there to help each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, many years ago, I bought a lathe, which I sold, because I was too scared to use it. And I had nobody to teach me.
But there's a local guy here, that Morris, he's get a list of these guys and put them down for you blokes, so you can get hold of somebody to help you and assist you. Sorry.
And about about 18 months ago, I bought a lathe and I've been enjoying that.
Okay, good.
And everything I know about turning, well, it's not much, but everything I know, I learned from the other members. It's always helpful, very helpful.
And I mean, make use of media. You know, there's a lot of publications and magazines and so on and so forth out there. So, you know, the big publishers like Zinnia and some of the other publishing houses, go and have a look at them. You can get a subscription to whatever magazines that. I think the wood, and you can also get them from here. The Wood magazine is probably the most popular on the wherever you go in the world. You go to a woodworker's bathroom or toilet, they've got the Wood magazine in there. So it's everywhere, and that's probably the cheapest and the most effective one. The other big one, if you really want to look for a little bit more of a quality magazine, is the Popular Woodworking. They're a very good one to get hold of. A little bit more pricey, but that's if you're into solids, working with solid wood, but then that's a different game altogether. I think that's why you want to have a look at more working with the solid stuff now as opposed to the chipboard. Chipboard's got its place, but you know, alright, that's how we work. Okay, young man, you're done. Good stuff, and you're going to give it a go. Get this bench finally sorted out.
Yeah.
Really, I'm a total beginner. I don't even have a workbench.
Okay.
So,
What do you have in tools that can impress us? Tell us something.
nothing at this stage.
Not even a screwdriver?
Yeah, I do. I have
No, that's a
yeah, now I'm a total beginner.
No, good stuff. Okay, all right. So you're going to see what it's about and then see if you're going to take it from there. Okay. Well, welcome aboard. I hope it whets your appetite. It's a different game altogether. All right, young man, you're up.
Dave.
How's it, Dave?
Pensioner.
Me?
Almost at the end of my tool buying experience. Been buying a hell of a lot of tools over the last.
That was last week. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. My first workbench, I did some alterations, additions at my house, and had a lot of roof timbers over.
Yeah.
And also built kitchen cupboards a lot over the years. So used the timber to make a sort of low-ish, long, very elongated workbench. It's suitable for putting kitchen cupboards together and that type of thing. But my days of MDF and chipboard are now past, and I'm now moving on to solid woods. I'm also a colleague with Les here at the Witwatersrand, and we're going to keep pumping.
Yeah, no, pump it.
The Witwatersrand Woodworkers Association, they meet on Mondays and Wednesday evenings in Parkhurst, yeah. And in the evenings at 6 or something. And there's 3 different scenarios you can get into: either cabinetry, wood turning, or toy making.
Okay.
And toy making actually is a very good beginning for potential woodworkers.
Yeah.
We also have a competition once a year where we make toys for children's homes.
Good
and
stuff,
that type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So that's very good. This is also very modest. He's in actual fact a very good turner, this young man over here. He made a beautiful ship's wheel this side with all the spokes and whatever, so he's really learnt a lot. But we also have a workshop with circular saws and lathes and band saws and also that type of thing in Albert's Crib. And we meet there on Wednesday and Friday mornings. So if anyone's interested in joining, the fee to join the Witwatersrand Woodworkers Association to belong to the club, it's like 400 rand for the year.
Gosh, it's
Absolutely ridiculous.
That's 3 pieces of pie.
Yeah. And then on a Saturday morning, the workshop is also open, and there's different activities. For example, we have experts, turners, that give demonstrations on Saturday mornings and help. So it's really something worthwhile joining up. Even if you don't attend all the meetings, there's a lot of knowledge to be shared. We've got people there that...
This is good to know, because you're only sitting in an island here, and there's another island out there. It'd be nice to get these together. The chap I think that we should address this to is Mark, because he's the media marketing guy. This is Martin standing up.
They all know that.
They know about this.
Yeah, but, okay, all right. Update and get it there. So we can get it on the website and let's have a look at it. The turning thing, I in particular would be interested in that because I've got a jet lathe that I really would love to get switched on. Yes, it's in a box. It does the stand and the tools. So yeah, if there's anybody willing, I'm a keen learner, keen student. I keep my mouth shut and learn. So yeah, maybe I'll just cross and say hello to you guys. Introduce myself.
There's an expert turner. He's probably one of the best ones in South Africa. There's John Speedy. And John gives lessons here.
Yes, sir.
And he also gives a strand. As I say, he's probably the premier wood turner in South Africa. Old guy. So get in early.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then also for any chaps here that have routers, there's a chap, Dennis Locke, and he gives courses on the use of routers, and his skills are second to none.
Okay.
So those are the two
so
mates
let's I think we need to get something moved in this direction. And talk is cheap, but we can really start getting these guys to pull together. And these associations, these various ones out there, I think we can up the ante on it. This, like I say, it's a solitary game. And to be quite honest, until you join one of these, one of these groups, then it becomes a different. Your game just lifts completely because you do things that becomes your style. I spoke with Joe DeResta about 2 years ago. I met him and I had a chat with him, and he was also solitary, independent, solitary. Didn't talk to anybody, communicate. Trying to learn out of books and from family members and stuff like that. Since he's opened up his YouTube channel, that's where his fame's come from. And the way that he approaches things, his world has just changed. He said he's doing things differently, he's speeding up his processes and stuff like that. So he's gone through a whole evolutionary stage just by reaching out and contacting other people. So the minute you do that, your game it improves enormously. So don't be ever shy to ask anybody, who's the dovetail guy? But who dovetail? You want to do? Who wants to do dovetails? Somebody said that. Yeah, yourself. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's. This is the kind of thing, you need to watch somebody do that and then see how they do it. It's a show. I mean, these guys do an absolute show-off show because they've done it so many times. They hang the gentleman's saw like this and then they put it on there and they drop it. And he doesn't make any pencil marks and he cuts it and he cuts it, he cuts it. And you say, okay, I want to see the other piece of it. And he takes the thing and he hangs it, and he cuts it, and he cuts it, and he puts a two-piece in the seriously. How did you do that? You know what? Practice, eh? That's really what it is. All right, guys, okay, so we know a little bit about each other, where we are and our expectations. So we've got from I know nothing to I know a lot. And welcome on board. And guys, please, during the breaks, I'm sure there's going to be doing a lot of talking between yourselves and discussion. Please make it a nice, warm environment that you want to come back here again, okay, to come and take the next level. And we move it through to the end, okay? All right, good. Okay, so who's this workshop for? Guys who can't read. Okay, so if you're interested in woodworking, so if that's not you, in the wrong place. Okay, we sorted that one out. The next one, if you're a complete novice, there's a couple of you, a master craftsman. You know what, woodworkers are humble people too. A master craftsman never calls himself one. Other people call him that. I'm telling you, I've worked with guys that are craftsmen in their trade. He's not a master craftsman, he'll tell you that. He's nowhere near that. And he's humble, but he's classified as that. They write up as a master craftsman. Publications talk about them as master craftsmen, you understand? So, if you're in that category or in between, that's where you are, that's why you're here. You want to improve on your current workbench. Maybe you're going to do it. Anybody here that wants to improve on the current one? Oh, there you go. So there might be something you're going to pick up from there. Nothing wrong, a couple of modifications, maybe change the top, new vise or whatever the case may be. We can go through and have a look at it. And then maybe you want to build another workbench. And I was actually going to put there, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Because you've got one for your miter saw, you've got one for your table saw outfeed, you've got one for your assembly, you've got one for your planing, your sanding, and whatever the case may be. You've got one for your finishing. What other ones have you got? One for your cutting, when you put your plunge saw down on it, and your routing with your sled and all of that. What else? What other tables? One for your cup where you go sit and do your designs and your CAD drawings and stuff like that. Well, that's your desk, but it's still a table. And then another one where you make your coffee. So how many more tables do you need? I've got it down to a point now, fine art. I knock a table out in less than an hour, and I mean one that won't walk. And I'm being dead serious, in an hour, I'll knock one out for you. Okay. Fine, my quick and dirty to do all of that is the, what's it, it's a 114 by 38, 3.6. That's the way to do it. Clean that guy up, knock off the square edges with a little corner around it on it, and man, you've got a good looking piece of wood, eh? Why are you chuckling? Am I right? Yeah. And then off you go. Build your table. Right, good stuff. Let's do the next one. Okay, so there's our schedule. Sorry guys at the back, I know it's a little bit minute, but I'll go through just quickly with you. So the workshop's going to run from 9 o'clock till 1 o'clock, okay? So I need to talk for 4 hours. I've done okay for... Seriously, I've only spoken for 7 minutes.
You mean to up your game?
What time did you start? What the heck? Yeah, no, woodworkers can time warp, eh? Excuse the pun. Alright, so we'll run from 9 till 1 on the following Saturday. So it'll go up onto the website, it'll get emailed out to you, I think at least twice a month you'll get this with the woodworking, and there'll be links and it'll be everywhere, so please. The 25th of January is where we are today, 29th of February, because it's a leap year. It's only going to happen once this year, and then the next time it'll happen is in 4 years' time. Okay, so, and next year we'll skip February, we'll go straight into March. So, 28th of March, 18th April, 23rd May, June, 27th of June. July, we've got a couple of things to do. So you'll see in August, we've got an early one in August to make up for the lost one in July, and then a late one in August, and then there's some events that are going on in September, and then we've got the 31st of October, and then the last one will be the 5th of December. So towards the end, to kind of give you an idea, so we're going to build the whole thing, and the approach would normally be, you know, once you've done, so we're going to talk about it now, the theory of, and what we need to think about to put our workbench together. Then our next session will be the plan. We've got to have a plan. Okay? A sketch. And little drawings. Do you know what that is? You don't use the sketch, even if it's just a little mock pencil drawing. I don't know where you're going with it. Okay, so we'll go through that. So we'll move through each step. So the more logical, so in terms of the build, the logical step is to start down at the bottom with the feet and get that sorted out, what we're going to do and attach and all that. And then we start working our way up so that by the time we get towards the sort of the second last, our top is going to go on. Okay, we're going to sort our top out. We'll give you guys some good ideas around the top. And then the 5th of December we'll talk about the winding up, the wrapping up, whatever other little nigglies. So if you are going to build with us as we go along, then that 5th of December is a nice opportunity to kind of just discuss things that maybe that you still wanted to sort out, because you've got December, you've got a bonus, you've got a little bit of extra cash, maybe you want to do a couple of things on it, and then we can give you some guidance and assistance on it. Okay, all right. All right, so one thing that's left out on this whole thing is how much does this cost? Now, everything costs, guys. It costs you your time to come and put your bum in the seat and to come and learn something, okay? So yes, some things are free. You're going to take it back with you, and you're going to get that knowledge. And this is what woodworkers are all about. We impart our knowledge to as many people as possible for as low a price as possible. Okay? We make our money out of doing and making furniture and selling it to other people. Okay? Is that right, John?
No, I don't do that, but I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, you know, so that's how we would make our money. Sharing our knowledge is basically something that we would do for the love of the game. Okay? All right, that's how it would work. All right, good. So that's our schedule, but then just some other dates for us to consider. For the rest of the year, we've got the Hobby X coming up. So don't forget, you guys, if you are playing with wooden tools and stuff like that, you want to zip off to Hobby X and then go and have a look around there. While we're in the neighborhood of talking about different tools and so on, I had a very interesting chat with somebody who's quite a good woodworker and lots of tools and toys and whatever. And we were having a chat and we were talking about technology and so on, and there's this drive. I mean, we know this fully well now, that for the last 25 odd years, the schools don't offer woodworking anymore. You know, this has just really gone out of the window. But there's this massive drive to get it back in there, because they now realize that we need skilled people to go and do things, and people that can stand up and do a little bit of DIY instead of, and I can tell you what, it's bad out there. When you see what people ask you to do, and you think to yourself, you're kidding, you can't do that on your own. Seriously, it makes you really wonder. But then they say a fool and his money are easily parted. Well, that's how the game works, I guess. Eh? So, but talking about just quickly, the Hobby X just sort of jogged my memory. You know, it's okay when somebody comes and says to you, oh, I'm a woodworker and I've just planed this piece of work and I can get these little shavings that come off like a piece of paper that I can flatten out and I can write a love letter to my wife and post it to her. How important is that to you as a woodworker? When you've got a modern tool called an electric planer, and it does exactly the same job. If you know how to work either one of them equally well, what's the point? I'm an electric tools guy. You know, I'm not going to go and work with, I've got to know how to sharpen the blade, I've got to know all of those things. Dave, you know, traditional workers are going to concentrate on that kind of stuff. But we've got modern tech, so to turn you on, you've got CNC machines, with CAD software. Awesome stuff that you can work with, that can either use your CNC to cut the stuff out that you want, switch it on, put your, you know, your 4x8 on it, and walk away. And it does the whole thing for you. Come back and you've got all your parts and pieces and assemble. That's what you do. Or you've got a laser machine that cuts everything, it does everything for you. What's the crime in that? It's the modern way of doing things. We've evolved in that. Dave, what's the crime?
No, you still need the purists.
No, to a degree. To a degree, I admit that. But for certain things, there's just the need for this is now kind of coming to pass, because we've got to get the younger guys into this game, and they're not interested in playing around with the hand tools all the time. They want to play with the gadgets. They want to play with the equipment, the modern stuff. Dave, yes.
Something that you're forgetting about. This is South Africa. We're going to have more and more load shedding. Now,
I got to a point. Anyway, that's not a reason. Anyway, for the guys that are keen on this kind of stuff, the guys that are into the tech, there are tech toys for you to play with. If you go and have a look, they've got routers that you can pre-program with a pattern in the router, and put the router down on that piece of wood, and it'll actually walk across the table and cut the pieces out for you. There's 2 types out at the moment. There's one where a company developed it with like a tape that they can read, and there's another one that actually just center it on the board and it'll work its way around and it starts cutting off the board. It's a router, it's not a CNC, so it's a walk and move and go around router that moves around the table. Go and have a look at the tech that's out there. There's some amazing things out there. So, yes, Dave, I'm okay with that. But you know, when we're gone, I don't think the guys are going to worry about thin slithers of wood after planing it. They're going to turn, I can do the same thing with a router. So, you know, just watch out. If you're not that way inclined, don't frustrate yourself because you don't know how to work with that particular tool. Okay? And there's an electric variant of it. Go for the electric one. That's what you're more familiar with. Go with it. If it doesn't work for you, maybe you get a bit of a pleasure out of, spending, a couple of hours trying to get your plane 100% sharp that you can actually shave it and then go and plane afterwards. If you want to do that, you want to be a Rambo about it, go for it. I'm okay with it. But if the electric one can snap the thing out the same way, you take the blades off and throw them away, put a new set of blades and go again, work it out for yourself. It's a no-brainer. Okay? Alright, so pick your path. Don't let anybody shoehorn you into a particular category. Pick your path. As long as you can produce what you want at the end of the day. I digress. The other day somebody came to me and asked me to fix up a piano pedestal for them. The thing wasn't a break, it was a fracture, just broke apart. Had a look at this thing. It was made out of pine wood. It came from Vietnam. It's got the stamp on it, made in Vietnam. What was interesting though, when I looked at it, I looked at the pattern on it and I thought, gosh, obviously being made in Vietnam, they've got a lot of labour, so the guys, chisel out and carve the mouldings and everything out on the edge. No, it's not even carved. The guys were clever. They take the offcuts and they left the sand, the sawdust, and they mix it with glue, the old story. Snap it on the side of the leg of the chair, a standard leg, and they press a mould over it and they lift it off, and then they varnish it and it looks like the real McCoy. And this guy brings this thing to me, and he's asking me to do the repair, and I'm looking at this and I said to him, what is this? The first question, after assessing this whole thing, I said to him, this has obviously got some sentimental value. He says to me, yes it does. I said, but I tell you what, it's not worth repairing. Because I'm going to charge you anything from 700 Rand up to fix this thing up. And he's a little bit horrified about it, and I said to him, what? And then of course the guy made his effort. He used no more nails to try and join the 2 pieces together. So the rest is a story for another day. But just to let you know, this is how tech goes. This is how technology goes. This is how things go out there. Okay. So pick your category, pick your path, pick your choice, pick what you want to do and how you want to do it. Okay. Right, quickly, Hobby X. It's a toy ground for us. Okay. We go there. There's tons of tools. Hardware Centre will definitely be there. Plus the Bosch guys will be there with their generals and the usual. And all the laser guys are there, the 3D printer guys are there, and so on and so forth. By the way, you can get 3D printing filament now, wood filament. You can actually print it out. That's wood. And when it's finished, you can sand the thing down. They mix wood into this filament, And you can actually print out a 3D object that's made out of wood. Okay? So, Dave, 3D printer that pushes it out first, and it's wood.
Hang on, mate. Wait.
Our club will be there as well.
Yes, okay, and the Bitwatch Restaurant Anarchist Club, what are they? Wood people?
They'll be demonstrating there and showing what they've made through the year.
Okay, good. You still busy on those off, you guys?
No, not really. Not how it all.
That was a joke, Dave.
Funny.
Hello.
You talk a lot about the new tech out there. Yes, some of it's very interesting. But how many of your guys here are really hobbyists and you're not out to produce something to sell, but rather to learn a craft? So if you want to learn a craft, then part of the journey of that is hand tools, how to sharpen it. I think it's extremely enjoyable to learn and work with hand tools as well, especially from a hobbyist point of view, where we don't want to, how long it takes to produce something is not a matter for us. We're not selling it. So when it comes to that, sometimes, and the tech is very expensive. Not to say good hand tools are not, but the tech is very expensive.
Like I said, everybody goes and picks their own category and they fit into it and they play with it. So some of the guys will be gadget geeks and they'll go and buy all the wood gadgets and they'll play with that. The other guys will use the tech with wood making. Other guys will use the tools. So, there's a space for everybody in this game. That's really what it boils down to. But you're right. If you start off with humble beginnings, it's
well, not necessarily. You can start off with your power tools and your machinery and things of that sort to do the groundwork. But then the pleasure of using hand tools to actually finish something and learning a craft. So you could mix both. It's not necessary you've got to go on either side of it.
I can second that. I had a long conversation with him about 2 weeks ago, and I bought a block plane with an adjustable mouth.
Yeah.
And I took it home. I had a sharpening block. I watched some YouTube videos. I learned how to sharpen it. I sharpened it, messed around with it for about 20 minutes, half an hour, fine-tuned it. And I got my project not finished, but I did the work I wanted to do on it with a block plane that I couldn't do with anything else. I couldn't do it in any other
there is a place for everything.
And it was so much fun figuring out that block plane. And now I know how I can use it, and it's so versatile.
No, you're right.
And it's just, I love tech as well, don't get me wrong, but it's also, it is a price thing as well, especially if you're starting out.
Between the two rounds, and I agree with you. I mean, if you're going to dowel a screw into a patio bench, and you're going to put a dowel, you can use your flush cut saw on top of it. It's not going to come out 100%. So yes, a little small plane, the block plane's going to just knock it off and get it nice and flat. Sanding is going to give it a little bubble, so you're going to knock it down. So yes, of course I do. But you know what? Find your niche. The younger guys are more interested in the tech. They don't want to know the hand tools. And you're right. They don't. And I've watched this, and the guys I've spoken to have said this clearly. They're not interested in working with the old tools. They want to play with the new stuff. If that's the way to get them into this game, then that's what you've got to do. They will go back. And you're right. Because even a little small little carving set, I use that. I'm not a wood carver. But you always have something in your wood project that you've made, and you need to get that little piece of wood out. How do you get it out? Those little carving tools, get a cheap set and you knock them out with that. So you learn how to work with it. Or you want to make a round in a leg and it's just, you missed it. You don't want to go put the round back in there again. So what you're going to do, you're going to carve that thing out. So yeah, you do. You invariably lean towards that. But start at a point and the rest comes into play. Okay? And it'll work. So I'm not anti the hand tools. It's just, we should consider that there's different ways of doing things.
Sorry, just another quick one. To make it a hobby and something that you don't always need a lot of machinery because there's lots of other areas of woodworking that you can get into.
Yeah.
For example, especially the older guys that have moved into smaller homes and that type of thing, they don't have the space. And then they buy small lathes and they, for example, make pens.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's big game, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple of experts that do marquetry and parquetry.
Yes.
And the stuff they produce on their kitchen table, literally. And just for the uninformed, marquetry and parquetry involves making a little box, like a jewelry box, and then putting veneer onto it, different shapes. And if you go to Hobby X, you'll in actual fact see some very good examples of that as well. So, yeah, if you're staying in a little townhouse with not much space or whatever.
Sure, and a body corporate, yeah.
Yeah, you can still, there are various areas of...
Yeah, no, you're right. You know, this is the nice thing about this game. You can pick something that can suit your environment, and you know, and you'll be ring fenced that you can only work with that, but it's something that's still enjoyable and pleasurable. Like you said, they even make the little miniature lathes and the little miniature table saws. What's that company? Proxon, yeah. I mean, they concentrate on that, you know, for the little guy, you know, for the little apartments and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. Or you have a man cave, and you go and put all the stuff out there, and you make all the noise in the world, and you produce stuff, and you sell it all. But there is, you're right, you know, so from a simple little thing to something very complex that you can sell it for thousands, you know, this is your game. Decide what you want to do. And you guys are right, it goes from one end to the other. It's one of the few areas or trades, you want to call it that, where either the hobbyist can go into it or the professional can go into it. And not many of them can do that. So, yeah, right, thanks for the input on that, I appreciate it. HobbyX is your playground. Make sure you guys get out there and go and do it. So I don't know how Morrison would do it if they give away complimentaries or stuff like that. Don't they do that with exhibitors? Just trying to hit Alright, okay, so it's from the 5th to the 8th of March. Then Hardware Centre's got their Woodworkers Expos that they normally do. The first one will be on the 24th to the 25th of July. And then the 27th and the 28th of November. And all the guys, obviously from the store, including myself, will be there demonstrating some of the tools, the border tools, the UJK, etc., so the guys can get to see what's going on and hands-on. Then we spoke just quickly, just to talk about HobbyX. We spoke about the program for HobbyX, and you know, invariably what happens is it's over 4 days, and if you are keen in a couple of areas, you know, time is not your friend. You're trying to do things and get to see a couple of things, and before you know it, the day's done. And then you're either going to make a decision to come back another day, and then when do you get to see that particular event again is another issue. So I think the understanding is that provisionally, the idea is to sort of do one schedule that we're going to repeat on each day. So that, you know, if you maybe want to come out for 2 days type of thing, and you want to see something, maybe we're doing something in the morning, but then there's a little bit of issue with something we're doing in the next session, with another demonstration that's happening with another product somewhere else, then at least you've got the opportunity to know that it's on the same schedule over each day. So you can come back another day and then have a look at whatever you want to look at again, okay? So we're going to be doing proper demonstrations, making something and getting it out to show you guys how everything works. And of course, for the Cape Town folk, there's the Cape Town date, so it's the 20th of July, and then the 22nd and 23rd of November, okay? All right. Good, again, that's the new logo for the HobbyX. Okay, good, so now, the thing that some of you are quite good at, some of you are saying, what? And some of you are not good at it all. So let's have a little chat about safety, okay? And I think that's something that should be taken quite seriously and should be high on your agenda at all times, okay? In my workshop, I am scared of my table saw. I have a little chat with her before we start. Actually, we are going to be nice to each other today. I pick up my piece of wood and I switch it on. And I make sure I've got everything that I need to protect me. Then we do it. And when I finish, I say to her, thanks old girl, and then we go off. Okay. So there's nothing wrong in being a little bit afraid of what you're going to be working with. Why? Because it makes you more alert and aware of what's going on around you. Okay, does that make sense to you? So yes, some of you guys have got to that point and you're probably saying, I'm so scared of switching this router on, I'm worried this bit's going to fling out of there and it's going to hurt me and it's going to cause damage. Things happen, of course they do, but you're aware of it. But the problem is you've got to push yourself beyond that and understand that what's happening to you is something that's going to protect you, the emotion that you're having. And that's going to put you in good stead to take it to the next step. And that's why the guys will go and do a bit of training with somebody who's a real pro on a router. And he stands there with this thing and it's whirring in the air and you've standing, this is going to kill me. And he's got it all over the place and he puts it down and whatever the case may be. But this guy's lived and worked and ate and slept with this thing, with a router, okay? And he knows how to deal with it. You'll get there as well. And once you've done a little bit of a training and a lesson with the guy, you go back and you're a little bit more, he's just taken the edge of your fear, okay? But you're still fearful. Nothing wrong with that at all. If you are of that nature, you're okay. Alright? Get to a point where you say, right, now we're going to do it. Face it and let's get on with it. But always, I'm always scared of my tables. That's my beast in the workshop, okay? You each, I think each and every one of you have got your own individual piece. Who's your piece, Dave? None of them.
Besides
Your hammer. Yours? Lee?
I was just scared of the table saw.
No, good. So we all go down. Maybe I'll change to the lathe if I go to the lathe. Because you envisage all these crazy things in your head, but you know what it is? You overthink it. That's really what it boils down to. The guys will demonstrate you what will happen. Not on the table saw, please. But with lathes. Now, okay, this is what can happen. Okay, no more. All right, so let's go through it. So PPE, personal protective equipment. We know about this. Guys that work out there, go to construction sites or go anywhere, you've got to have a high vis and a hard hat and safety shoes and whatever the case may be. So let's go for it. Eyes. Okay, I can't talk more on that topic. It's very clear. Without them, you can do nothing. Okay? Look after your eyes. There's enough equipment out there. There's cheap stuff out there that will still protect your eyes. You can go expensive, you can do a whole lot of things. So I put there glasses. If you've got prescriptive glasses, make sure you get a proper set of polycarbonate prescriptive glasses that you can wear with a proper little wings at the back or on the side to stop anything coming in. This is fine. But there's always that chance that somebody's going to come in from this side, and it happens, even on that. About 2 weeks ago, quickly, I had these, my glasses on, I go quickly, want to make a cut, there a piece comes out, I thought, oh gosh. Just because you don't want to put the stuff on. If you don't want to, if you want to wear these, you can get over the, over your, yeah, you can get those. So maybe go for that as an option, because I know the polycarbonates are expensive, they really are. You get them made up, the prescriptive glasses. So if you want to step away from that, they'd rather get the over-the-glass glasses. Okay, Uvex make a fantastic range, so go and have a look at what they've got. What's his name? The guy from the rep? Dusty. The Uvex guy? Uvex rep? Okay, do you sell? Uvex rep. Anyway, one of the reps is actually very good. If you get on his right side, do you guys know Uvex at all? Do you have them ever come around to your at your woodworking group? No. Just have a chat to them. Get some of these guys to come around, because then they bring a couple of freebies for you and they throw the glasses out for you guys. So get them around. Okay, goggles. Okay, so we've spoken about that. You can put goggles on if you're more comfortable with that. Just make sure you get goggles that don't mist up. The reason why I'm putting goggles in there is because they go together with the dust mask. Okay, you get various types of combinations. Then the other one is the shield. Okay, so that's one that I'm more comfortable with. I like to use a shield. So that's the one that you can put over your face. So the turners normally use that one. They have their glasses on, they put the shield up in front of them. There's nothing wrong with you doing the same thing. I know you look like somebody that's on a mission to Mars, but who cares? So get yourself, you've got glasses, get yourself a shield and put a shield over you. What's the nice benefit of a shield? You've got a lot of air that you can breathe, you've got space to put your mask on, things aren't going to fog up like they always do. And of course, if you are nervous with your tool and you've got your dust mask on and your goggles and your glasses and everything, what happens is, glasses mist up, eh? And then you get even more frustrated. Okay, this is going to happen, it's your nerves. This is going to happen. Until you eventually calm down. So I know my calmness level when I've got nothing on my glasses, okay? But I know I'm okay with it. But please do go and address this. These things are not expensive in terms of what you're protecting. Okay, so make a good investment in that. So much stuff out there. Just have a look at it, all right? Ears. Okay, seriously, guys, ears. Again, another topic we can't talk enough about. You need to protect your ears, your hearing. So when you're young, it's awesome because they can kind of, you've got a bit of a warranty on your ears. You know? When you start getting to a certain age and things like tinnitus start stepping in and you hear this constant ringing and it's not the doorbell anymore, and so life goes on. So I'm going to tell you now, either invest in a cheap box or a box of earplugs, those ones that you can roll and stick in your ear and they expand in your ear, get that, get a box of those and when you finish just throw them away. Or get a nice set of ear defenders, these guys. Now listen, there's some magic stuff out there. You can get ones that have got Bluetooth, you can connect. And I'm sure anybody who works in a workshop has always got a radio nearby. I do. I have my radio out there and I'm listening to music. I don't listen to the talk stuff. Then I'm going to get angry and cut my finger off, okay? So I listen to just music or whatever the case may be. So get yourself a good set of ear defenders. They've got a built-in radio on them. Some of them got Bluetooth and built-in radio and a little SD card that you can pop in there. So no excuse for you to go and listen to your favorite tunes or your playlist from Spotify, stick it in there, or Bluetooth with your phone or whatever the case may be. But make a sound investment in getting a good set of ear defenders or something to protect your ears. Now you think, okay, all right, I'm just going to switch the table saw on and it makes a quick whine. That little whine is enough to make the damage that's required to go to the next level. deaf is the next level. Okay.
Can I just add something?
Yes, sure.
The defenders? Those little foam ones that you put in your ears tend to make your head ring. They only block out certain sounds.
Yeah.
You find that if you try and talk, you get a sort of resonance in your head.
This is like on the water tracing, yeah.
And the better quality ones are the ones that look like a little Christmas tree.
Yes.
That you pop in your ears. But the best are still those.
Yeah, the over the ear ones.
You get a lot of sound transfer through the back of your ear as well. So if you don't have something that covers your ear entirely, that's
right. Okay, but get some form of protection in there. You know, so we're going from the cheap and nasty to the best you can afford. But yes, look after your ears. You know, and do something. I use those. I've got a 3M set, got a radio in it and whatever, and the Bluetooth and whatever. So grab a set of those, okay, and they really work. And check them, do the specs on it. There's a lot of stuff coming in from the Chinese market that's just kind of molded and slapped together, and they're flogging it out there to all the companies at a cheap price. And that stuff doesn't really work. You know, the sound insulation is just not sufficient. But if you get yourself a good, I'm pushing it, but the 3M guys, they give you a set of 2 sets of foam, the insulating foam. So when your foams eventually perish and go flat or whatever, you've got 2 more sets to replace them with. Okay, that's the advantage.
Where do you get good quality with like the radios and things?
You get it online easy.
Just search for it online. I can't remember where I got mine.
Probably RS Electronics, I think.
I think it was. Yes, it was RS. Yes, it was RS because RS is the only thing. Yeah,
that's what I bought.
Yeah, you're right.
There.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'd like to disagree with you having music in your headset.
Yeah.
Because it takes away your concentration. I mean, if you're using like for example, I do steelwork as well, so when I use my cut-off machine, I put it on, I cut it, take it off.
Yeah.
You know, if you like the circular saw, cut, take it off.
Okay, perfect. I agree with you.
I
I'm not going to pay Jethro toll when I'm playing on my table, so I can guarantee you that. It's off.
Yeah.
But if I'm standing there and I've got some sanding to do and I've got varnishing to do or finishing or something, I've got my defenders on and I'm playing the music. So when somebody walks into the workshop, I'm not going to hear them. It's on my head. I don't want to know who you are and I don't want to be disturbed. I'm busy, I'm in my zone. It's like the guys that wear little buds for the iPhone. You don't know whether they're on or off. What is it? It's a signal to say, don't talk to me. So the same as that. But yeah, I hear you. But if you want to play Jethro Tull while you're hitting your table saw and you're a total woodwork anarchist, go for it. I'm okay with it. No, but I hear you. You made a point. Okay. All right, nose and lungs. Yeah, gosh. Okay. All right, there's another topic. We can talk forever about that. Get yourself a proper, good dust mask, this box of dust masks or respirators. Again, the 3M guys make a good product. North Safety produce some good stuff out there. Be careful again of the knockoffs. I think it's the FFP2s is the ones that you should be using, and then the FFP3s. Okay, anything above that. The 3s are quite expensive. They've got a little valve in the front so that the moisture can escape and you can breathe properly and stuff like that. So make sure that when you get these masks that they work for you. I'm not a keen fan of these. I must be honest. I've got a proper. Mine goes over the face and it goes around the back and then over the ears. So it ties up quite nicely and you can walk and you look like Darth Vader. You can get ones with teeth and all sorts of things painted on the front of you. Want a bit of a funky look or whatever. But as you can get, but they work. They really truly. They've got some different filters you can put on the inside. You get carbon, so it can take away smells, especially the toxic woods that you're working with. There's a discussion for another day. I worked with some rosewood on Thursday without a mask. I coughed like a cowboy from there. But beautiful wood to work with. Who's worked with rosewood? Anybody? You don't always get a chance, eh?
Rosewood floors. Doesn't have it sand.
The stuff cuts beautifully. It sands beautifully. It varnishes beautifully. Everything beautifully, eh? But the dust is yucky. You don't get it straight away. It's only that even you're sitting there. It's starting to visit you. It reminds you. Okay, guys, please have a look around. Get some really good stuff. I mean, I've seen the turning guys, they get a full face thing that they put on with a little breathing thing at the back. They make an investment in that and they work with it so they get absolutely no dust coming. Sometimes the dusts they work with are toxic, so they get none of that coming to it. So it's a full face. And that's actually one of the nice ones. Trend made, I think you guys said that. Trend, I've got one of those. My battery's gone, so I don't know how to replace the battery, so that was a bit of a US. So full face jobby that you put right around you, so it seals right around your face with a little air thing, motor jobby on the top of the head that you put a battery in and then circulate the air and blows it over your face to keep you nice and cool. So if you're doing some serious stuff and a lot of work or planing or whatever and routing or whatever, that's the baby to go. But they're expensive. You're looking at about $4,000, $5,000, $10 grand now. Okay, maybe these will work. All right. Have a look around. The shield, as I say, my personal choice is my little mask. I use my glasses, and if I'm going to work on any of the machines, I grab the shield and I put a shield down. I've got a nice shield with a nice funky one, not those normal regular plastic jobby. I've got a nice looking one. Okay. Right, feet. Okay, don't listen to this one. Okay, we'll skip that. We'll go straight to the No, I was saying that as in jest, but serious.
Seriously, when I see guys with open toe sandals and bare feet in workshops, it gives me the horrors.
Okay.
Foot injuries, I can tell you, are serious because your blood circulation to your feet is poor, and if you get a serious foot injury, it will bug you forever and ever. And if it keeps on bugging you, eventually it goes to amputation.
Okay, John knows this from personal experience, except he's still got his feet. Guys, no, seriously. You know, I don't understand this. The number of people that their level of safety on their feet is flip-flops. And the guys are working with wood, big pieces of wood. It takes nothing to knock something off a table. It takes nothing for it to slip out of your hands. Yes, Dave?
Sorry, if you're diabetic, can you to your foot?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Use it.
Yeah,
Use
sure.
it. Yeah.
Guys, you know, seriously, the minute I start working with any machinery, I don't have safety shoes on today because I still said this morning to my wife, I said, should I put the safety shoes on or not? She said, you're presenting. Yeah. So when I get to the point where I am going to work with my machinery and work with the wood, I'm going to put them on. I'm not, you know, the safety shoes nowadays don't look, you can get some really safety shoe looking safety shoes. But you know what, some of them are so pretty good looking. I mean, they look like a Nike running shoe. You know, there's no excuse for you to go and get yourself a decent pair of safety shoes. And if you do wear them on a regular basis, who's the guys that wear them on a regular basis? Get 2 pairs and alternate, one this day and one the next day. There's nothing worse than those oaks starting to mature on your feet as well. Okay? So, and then get good insoles, okay? Some of those insoles you buy, even though it's a good made safety shoe, the insoles are rubbish. They cut across. Get a good set of insoles, and preferably ones that have got charcoal in them, so they can absorb some of the odors and whatever. But get yourself 2 pairs. If you're regular in the shop, 2 pairs, day in and day out, and you swap them out and alternate them. Guys, best investment ever. Who's got 2 pairs, more than 1 pair? You guys do that. Yeah, I've got about 6 pairs. Depending on my client, I've got a real funky looking pair. I've got another pair that looks like a proper pair of shoes that you can polish up. It looks like it's got a little cap in it. They've got some modern stuff that you can work with out there. Okay?
There's another thing with safety shoes is they have a time limit. We find that, you know, where I work, the safety shoes last about 2 years, particularly if you leave them in a cupboard. The rubber actually deteriorates.
Okay.
And these things fall apart on you. I mean, I went on wine site one day and my safety shoes apart in the company. I left the soles behind. So they don't just buy them and stick them in the cupboard and think they're going to last 5 years because they don't.
Yeah, sure. Okay. All right, good to know. Never knew that about safety shoes. No, I wear mine until they go through. And then the other thing is, if you are going to make an investment in safety shoes, get something that's puncture-proof so that the nails don't go through. There's a nice fabric these guys make, like a Kevlar type fabric that they line at the bottom, that a nail doesn't punch through. Trust me, you'll know when it happens. And then you'll turn around and say, oh gosh, a couple of bucks extra, I could have got a decent pair. So make a worthwhile investment. The other thing is, make sure that when you buy them, those rubber soles are kind of nice. They shouldn't be squishy and they shouldn't be rock hard. Because remember, you're doing a lot of standing. So you want something that's going to be good on your feet, and maybe go a size bigger, because when you stand, your toes will move out. And another thing is, you learn this. As you get older, your feet grow. They don't. Your feet, your nose, and your ears don't, and your waist doesn't stop growing. No, seriously. Even if you've got a slim waist, your bones can start moving. So please, guys, get a size bigger. It's a worthwhile investment. You're not going to. Where are you running? You're not running around the workshop. And if so, what if it's like a boat on your feet? But I tell you what, you're going to be comfortable. Mine, my first pair I bought was a little bit too tight, and I tell you what, I hated them because it made me uncomfortable. Now they're nice. I've got a couple of pairs that are nice, size too big for me, but they're lacquer to standing, and they're like a gel. Okay. All right, so that's the safety shoes. Hands. Okay, Dave, you're up. Seriously, don't want to say anything about this topic because I know you're going to say something. Gloves. Yeah.
Don't wear gloves.
Don't wear gloves.
I wear gloves.
Who wears gloves? I see, that's why the one is actually a problem. Really, I say Dave's saying.
Well, it depends what you're doing.
Okay, so I've got a pair of good gloves. I'm just giving my experience. You guys, I'll put Dave on the platform. Okay. So I've got one pair of really good quality gloves. I was actually going to bring them with. I wanted to show you. They're about 5 years old. I want to show you the condition there. They're perfect. The only time I ever use them is if I'm picking up rough hewn planks, and they really are rough. That the splinters are saying to me, "Come and touch me." That's the only time I'm going to put gloves on me. And if I'm carrying lumber with somebody, because I don't know if he's going to put the anchors on that end and I'm going to carry on walking and I'm going to pick up a couple of splinters, okay? Only time I wear gloves. Otherwise, for everything else, your hands will get used to picking that wood up. John, am I right? You will know. You just get that tactile ability of how to pick your wood up. And you won't, you only do it once or twice. Rub a piece of wood. And then as you go along, you say, ah. And then you're going to sit there. Don't worry, nature takes care of that. They'll fester and they'll come out easily. It is, Dave.
Sorry,
I'm ready.
We have a member that nearly lost his finger from a splinter. Some of these hardwoods are very toxic. And as I say, he's a very experienced woodworker, got a splinter in his finger, and he nearly lost his finger.
Well, what do you do then? You know, it's 6 of the one and half a dozen of the other. What do you do?
Oh, we don't know.
Okay, everybody has a personal choice with regards to this. You know, you'll talk to, I mean, the guys I trained under, none of them wore gloves. I asked them to comment on gloves. The guy said to me, you're busy on a table saw, you've got a glove on, if it should nick that glove, it's going to pull the rest of you into that thing. A router, the same thing. A jigsaw, the same thing. You know, it's all a matter of how you're managing your environment or how you're managing things. A lathe, I'll have this in front of me. I wouldn't even have this tied like this in front of a lathe. It's going to be at the back of me. I want this, and I wear a leather apron, so it's smooth, so nothing's going to snag. No jewelry, no watch. I have a little pocket watch. So I want to watch the time, take it out, look like the old Inspector Clouseau or whatever. Look at the time, flip the lid, close it, put it back in my pocket. Which kind of funky when you go
Just go back to things on jewelry on fingers.
Nothing.
Tools,
nothing.
No jewelry.
I don't carry nothing.
Not even a watch.
Yeah, nothing.
I stuck my hand into a car bonnet before and shortened my watch across the battery.
Yeah.
Believe me, that wasn't funny.
That's why I have this plastic jolly on. So, yeah, you're right. You know, you just don't know. So I don't carry, I have nothing. I go in, nothing. Okay? And then